So we gotta cover this subject. See, the thing is, I feel like Jay-Z changed what it means to be a hip hop artist. Because now you got people that get in the game and they want to be a hip hop mogul. There is nobody who's ever come along in the game and literally gave us a blueprint to how to really become a successful artist and businessman the way that Jay-Z did. Shifted the culture. There's no question about it. The thing is, if music disappeared tomorrow, Jay-Z would still be on the top. And that's where cultural impact comes into play. See, growing up listening to Jay-Z, he made me want to be a boss. He made me want to talk different, act different, move different. He made me courageous enough to go into situations where I wasn't necessarily even prepared for, but I went to learn. And that's fundamentally what I think is Jay-Z's greatest superpower. He's a teacher that leads by example. Jay is a mogul, a business icon, one of the most influential people that has or ever will exist. What he's done will resonate across generations. You understand? Because eventually that man is going to be the blueprint. Like the literal blueprint, like he's going to be in school books. There's liquor, sports management, music, uh, luxury partnerships. Jay has made money doing some of everything, dog. And that's what makes him a mogul. I say that Drake is an incredible artist, but not necessarily the businessman, the mogul that Jay-Z is. That's not to diminish his business ventures. It's just that Jay-Z carries a certain type of aura that we've always all been attracted to. Thing is, when I listen to Drake, I want to reflect. When I listen to Jay, I want to get some motherfucking money. And that's likely because Jay-Z built wealth and Drake built attention, which both motherfuckers that got paid off of this. The thing is, 20 years from now, I feel like Jay-Z's business moves are gonna outlast even his music. And that's where I feel like the real difference is. You can get a lot more when you go to Jay-Z. That's the reality of it. I don't care what anybody says. Because there's an entity, an idea, there's a human that exists outside of music. Here's the tricky part. Drake's music may outlast his business. See, there's not $2 billion or whatever the fuck it is on the table because Drake's just gonna fade the fuck away. You gotta think, most people who grew up listening to Drake are still in their 20s, 30s. We've seen how timeless music has lasted over 50, 60, 70, 80 years. You know what I'm saying? Now compound that. Right. So who has the largest cultural impact? Who has the largest overall impact? Not only has Jay-Z introduced us to some of the biggest stars ever, Kanye, Rihanna, J. Cole. His ability to be a lyrical artist and still have commercial success cannot be understated either. But where Jay-Z stands out the most is the impact that he's made when it comes to business, when it comes to philosophy. The things that we've been able to learn from Jay over the years, just listening to his music, has been invaluable. And that's the great thing about being able to experience a person that is very, very in tune with himself. We're talking about black entrepreneurship. We're talking about an example, somebody who set a precedent for the African American man in this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, those things cannot be understated. I think at the end of the day, when you talk about Jay-Z, you're talking about financial literacy. You're talking about ownership. You're talking about a person that clearly thinks for himself. About a $2.8 billion net worth from a man from Marcy Projects in New York. A man who, when you look at the circumstances, didn't have a fucking chance. This nigga ugly too, man. Jay-Z's greatest legacy is just not gonna be in his music. Jay-Z's legacy is going to be in his business, his philosophy, his ideology, his belief system. The things that very few human beings can interconnect and become what he's become. Talk about shifting the culture. We talking about Drake, the greatest motherfucking artist that ever motherfucking lived. I gotta realize Drake came out in a time where being a hardcore rapper, gangster thug was what the fuck it was. Very few intellectual artists were breaking into the music scene at that time. And you gotta realize, man, this dude came from Degrassi. They was on his ass off top. I was there. Not only is he singing and rapping, he's being emotionally vulnerable in hip hop, which is automatically crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got to think about the fact that he's blending all these different genres at a time that, like, what is this dude doing? What is he doing? See, the thing is, what he's doing is up in the motherfucking ante. Let me tell you what Drake really did. He globalized hip hop in a way that it had never been globalized before. Nobody was able to blend in with all those different genres and bring the right energies the way that Drake's been able to do it. The way I see it, Drake is a global genre by himself. Drake should be a genre at the end of the day. And you got to think about it. He really influenced an entire generation. That man had more photocopies than goddamn Kinko's could ever push out in a single year. Let's be honest with it, man. He's one of the most successful artists ever. So when you talk about Jay and Drake, at the end of the day, there is no comparison. These are two different people from two different worlds, two different influencers that have shaped hip hop into a global empire. They're literally incomparable. Oh, there is no comparison. There's only preference. When you go to the grocery store, do you want apples or do you want oranges? And that's the great thing about hip hop. Be grateful.